Okay, I check. I've got some vocal, and it's about 5:37, so I am quite a bit um, ahead of schedule, which I understand. And I'm going to go into the course, and those who come in late and to here here at Bailey Business Center here in the lab, or those of you who are out there can always catch this on the front end and this information. And I just want to kind of go over some logistical details with everybody as we should. And tonight, of course, this is November 9th. And you'll notice that last week we covered access case number 5. And tonight we finished them off by covering access case number 6. All right. And access case number 6 is Uber audio number 1. And it's over there on page 210 in the Solve It textbook. Okay? So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. Now, as usual, I'll go for about an hour and a half, which is I'll go 75 to 90 minutes. Then I'll, do a second recording, probably tomorrow or over the weekend, so that we have the full 150 minutes of instruction. And that's what we've been doing all along as you check to see the amount of time spent. We've come quite a ways, and we're moving into a new phase of the course and really a new part of the semester. And I want to spend some time talking about that before we get off into the case. And to do that, we'll need to go over to the modules section and take a look at that. Gosh, it seems like yesterday we started the course, but here we are, and we're at week 10. And really, pardon me, we're at week 11. And last week, just as a quick review, during week 10, we talked about exam 2, part 1, and then exam 2, part 2, a couple of screencasts, and we graded those. Okay. And so we did that. Now, here in week 11, you should have already uploaded Excel case 12 and Excel case 13. You remember we were doing those, and we were front loading things, so when we got to this point, okay, we would have the work done. Now, let's talk about week 12, which would be the 16th. Okay? On the 16th, you're going to have the first 4 access cases will be done. Will be due, excuse me. So you should have uploaded these already because they're finished. You say, okay, well, what should I be doing? Well, during that week, my suggestion to you, okay, is to take advantage of that time, because what we'll do is I'll come in that Thursday, okay, on the 16th, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the final exams and about the work that's due. In fact, I need to do that a little bit tonight. Now, on the week 13, okay, we don't have any class. That's Thanksgiving, okay, so you're free there. So, well, then what should I be working on? Well, okay, we have an Excel function paper, and I've got a thing in here about random call presentations, and because we're doing this hybrid, I'm not going to do that, but I do want you to create, okay, a function paper. Now, we should have see the syllabus for details. Random call presentations will occur. Because we're running this hybrid, okay, I don't intend to do that. I intend for you to have a presentation ready, but I'm not going to make you present, okay? And I'll be sending, I'll be talking about that some. Now, let's go back up here, and we'll go to the course resources. All right. and we're going to find the syllabus for this fall. Okay, and we're going to download it. Okay, and as I mentioned, you look in the syllabus for the instructions, okay, on the XLS function paper. Now, what I'm talking about is about 2 to 3 pages, okay, and I want you to choose a function out of Excel, and you'll be doing it, and you'll choose a function, nothing goofy or simplistic, all right, and you're going to select a function like time value of money, like NPV, or standard deviation, something like that. I tell you some average, median, maximum pace, any function I consider rudimentary, but you need to you need to contact me by email and tell me, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and so see the in the syllabus, and here it is. Now, I'm not going to do the presentations. This will not happen because we're doing this hybrid. Okay, but you need to you'll need to select the Excel function and master it. You develop a written report and a PowerPoint presentation, and I want 2 to 3 pages. Okay, I want you to tell me about the function, how I would use it in business, why and how it works. Okay, and I've got some other things in here about your function paper and what ought to be in here. Okay, now you need to let me know what function you're going to do. Okay, so that's the individual Excel. That's the function. Now again, let me repeat. Let me repeat. You will not be asked to do a presentation. I'll ask you to provide one, so that if I want to, I can show everybody a presentation. But you don't have to be here in the class to present or anything of that sort. Okay? So I'm not going to make you all assemble and then do presentations all night long. We're not going to do that. But you do need to do a paper and have a presentation ready. Okay, and as I said, it's in the files in the syllabus. Okay, so you'll need to take a look at that. Okay, and I think I have some links for recordings to Zoom recordings for Access Case 6, Access Case 5. I have some stuff that you can look at there, okay, if you care to take a look at them, all right? Now, let's go on further down. So you'll have the paper. Then you also have a spatial analysis exercise, okay? And you said, where am I going to find that at? Let's go back up to the top up here, okay? And I have for you the instructions for you on how to do that, okay? And here they are. I have a whole series of steps that you'll need to take. And this is for the spatial analysis exercise. Okay, so the instructions for the function, Excel function paper and presentation, those are in the syllabus. The spatial analysis exercise is right here in the files. Okay, you can find it in this resources module. That's another big assignment you've got coming up, so you should be working on it. And those I'll be wanting to see. I'll ask you to provide me print screens of proof. Okay. Now, On week 15, you're going to see a bunch of stuff here that's from another course, and only I can see it, as you can tell. You can't see it, but here's the quiz. But you don't even have the quiz. Let's just look at, here we go. This is flex time for you to work on the final exam. That's week 15, okay? And then, of course, as we move on down, we come into the finals week, and the final exam is Monday the 11th of December to Thursday the 14th. Now, there's my final exam schedule, all right? And it's from Monday, okay? And I'm going to have to find, let me grab this here for a moment. It should be uploaded here for you, but let me go over to the files. Well, I know how to do this real quickly. Well, here it is. I'm sorry. My apologies. They're all ready. I thought I did. Okay. This is the final exam schedule. It's based upon the day and time your class occurs. And since we're a night class, our final exam is Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday, December 11th. That's per the university's rules. All evening classes will have their final exams on the regularly scheduled time during the final exam period, okay? So this class that meets, okay, pardon me, that's this class, pardon me, I apologize. Let me back up a minute. Our class, BISS 1123, this is a weird day for me. It is Thursday, December 14th, okay? And our exam time goes from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., okay? So on Thursday night, the 14th, that's our exam period. Now, go over here for a moment. I want to talk about that, okay? Here are the instructions, okay, for part 1. Okay, and that's due at the beginning of the final exam period. Okay, so it's due 6 o'clock on that Thursday, December 14th. And I've got what all you're going to have to do. That's exam part 1. It's due at the beginning of the period. Again, like I said, I started very early, and these logistic things, and you'll want to take a look at them so you know what's going on. Now, final exam part 1. Now, we've got the instructions for it, and you're going to be uploading you'll upload, okay, for part 1 an Access file and an Excel file, and I have the places for them. Now, final exam part 2. Okay, this is a quiz. Okay, over concepts covered in exam 1 and exam 2. You get 2 attempts, 40 minutes. Okay, and then final exam part 3 covers the Microsoft Excel cases in the Solve It text. So this is pulled from those cases. And again, this is open book, open note. And if you're smart, you'll start on it with this extra time that you have. Okay. Final exam part 4 covers the Microsoft Access cases in the Solve It textbook. Okay. So, the final exam part 2, 3, and 4 are each 40 minutes. That's the 2 hours. I would recommend you do the work before the final exam period. Now, if you come in the lab and you do the quizzes, if something happens, you're okay. But if you're working remote and you tell me, well, my internet went down or whatever, if you work remote, you do so at your own risk. So your best bet, is with the extra time I'll be giving you, then to work on them. So, and let's see who just joined me. Hi, Matthew. I started pretty early tonight, so you'll want to go back. I've been on about 15 or 20 minutes, so you'll want to go back at the end of the. Once I post this, you'll want to go back to the start to see some of the logistics that I'm talking about, stuff that's due and so forth. Okay. So that's what's going on now. Tonight will be our final case, and like I said before, I'm going to do. We'll talk about. I'll do a part 1 and a part 2 like I've been doing. Okay, but from here on out, folks, you've got projects ahead of you, and I will be here. Okay, but I'm going to be here to answer questions. Okay, in the event you have any. So this will be like virtual office hours for everybody in this class. Okay, and only this class. So if you have questions or issues or problems, you can certainly contact me, because I'll be up. Now when it's over, I'll just shut it down. Now, if I decide to not, I'll probably come to Bailey and be here, but I might choose to work remote. I'll let you know what's going on, okay? And there's nothing I can't do in the virtual setting that I can't do in my office at Bailey, all right? There just really isn't. So, whether I'm here or my office in Oklahoma City or whatever, it doesn't really matter, okay? So everybody who's just joined, let me kind of reiterate this for you. Okay, Matthew, Jake, Carmen. Let me reiterate again. After I post this video, you'll want to look at the first part, because for the past 20, 25 minutes, really past 20 minutes, I've focused on the logistical stuff that's due coming up and all that. I haven't done anything with case number 6. So so you can see what's going on. But again, just to emphasize, okay, we're gonna work on case number 6, the access case that's over in page 210 of the Solve It book. Okay, I'll do a part 1 tonight, and then I'll do a part 2 either Friday or Saturday, probably Friday, and then that's it. Those other evenings, starting with the 16th, I'll just be here waiting for folks who might have a question or a problem, okay? And I'll be in my office at Bailey if I'm over here. If I'm not, I'll let you know for sure, okay? And you'll have the week of the 16th to start working on the projects that we've got. You've got a couple of projects, and then you've got finals. So this week of the 16th, that time slot, you could come, you can work online, whatever you choose to do. And then on the 23rd of September is Thanksgiving. There's no class, okay? But during that holiday break, I'd get some time put in on working and try to. And certainly then on week 14, okay, you have the function paper, okay? And this business about random call, let me repeat again. The paper, what I wanted, 2 or 3 pages. Tell me about the function you've chosen, and that information is there in the syllabus, okay? And then there's a spatial analysis exercise, and I've got instructions for that, okay? And you need to go over there, and you'll find that up in the resources area, okay? Or you could just go to files and find it there. So you'll have some time to work on that as well, because you have those 2 kinds of projects. Now, we're not going to do presentations, okay? As I left it in there trying to kind of figure out how is this going to work with doing this thing in terms of a hybrid, and I'm not going to try it because I think it leaves people who are working remote, leaves them at a disadvantage. And if everybody uploads their work on time, if I want to show somebody's presentation, it's simple. I just put it up on the screen, okay? But you do need to go back and read the instructions there in the syllabus. I want you to choose a function. I tell you this, the ones I don't want you to choose. Tell me how it works, why you would use it, you know, what it's supposed to do, that type of thing. That's really what I'm after. The spatial analysis exercise is pretty straightforward. It's just a series of steps. So we've got a few folks online. Let's see, I've got Jake, Matthew, and Carmen. We've got a few folks here in the classroom, okay? And so, again, everybody, what you'll want to do is after I post this, you'll want to go back to the very start and read about the assignments and stuff that we've got coming up, because we're now in the phase of the course where it's basically independent study. Now, again, today is the 9th. Next week, I'll be in Bailey. I'll be over there in my office. I'll have the Moodle. I'll have the Canvas room open. So if you want to come in and ask me a question, you can. All right. Don't have to. Then the week of the 23rd is Thanksgiving. I would try to get some work done, and then that week of the 30th. Okay, that would be Thursday the 30th. You have the Excel function paper, and don't make too much of it. I want about 2 or 3 pages, and then I like a quick PowerPoint, nothing elaborate, but I want you to choose a function that's not, and they're in the syllabus. When you go take a look, you'll see. And then the spatial analysis exercise. Then week 15, okay, is totally flex time. There's nothing that you have to do, because you're going to be working on your final exam. As I mentioned before, your final exam, finals week, because we meet on Thursday night, our final exam will be Thursday the 14th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, as I said before, you have part 1 of your final is due at the start of the final exam period. Parts 2, 3, and 4, which are quizzes, are due at the end of the final exam period. You can work ahead as much as you want. You could have the whole thing done if you choose to. That's up to you. But I would say this, if you choose to work remote, especially with those quizzes, you know, you'll be on your own if something happens. So you'd be smart to work ahead as much as you can, because while these 3 exams, 2, 3, and 4, while these quizzes are open book, open note, it is 2 hours, okay, and each one is designed to be about 40 minutes in length. So, and again, you can come back in on that's the value of the recording. You can go back, the screencast, excuse me, you can go back and take a look at it and see what's going on. Okay, now we're going to work on case number 6 tonight, and that's the Uber audio, and it's over on page 210. Okay, and again, let me say this also: if you have questions, send me an email. Okay, if you're reticent when we start next week, if you're reticent to come in here, look, if you come in, you know, next week and you want to talk to me, you can do the chat function, and the only people who see it are myself and you. So if you choose to do that, it's fine. Or if you want to send an email, fine. Matters not to me. Now we're going to talk about case number 6. All right, and so let's go over to the files section. Okay, over in Canvas, click on it. And case 6 is there in the Solve It textbook. It starts on page 210. All right. Now, as usual, we're going to go down here to the Solve It student files, and you'll see those. Okay, there's the solution. There's the student files. And let's download the student files. Okay. And as usual with these access cases, we're working with the Solve It Chapter 5. So you'll want to put that out on your desktop. Okay. And you'll want to call this Access Case 6 or something of that sort. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to call it access case 6, okay? Get it down to your desktop and then rename it so that it's in that environment and it doesn't end up as like a system file or the system trying to use it. Now, this is the skeleton. We'll have the skeleton files, and this is a data warehouse. We've talked about that before for these cases. In other words, it has these tables. Now, if you click here, you could click all access objects, and you're going to see these are basically just tables. So we call this a data warehouse simply because it's a place we store tables. Now, if you look and you come down, if you look over here in the objects, you're going to come down and you're going to find Uber Audio. Okay, you'll find here case number 6. And so it should be Uber Audio 1. There it is, Uber Audio A, case 6. Let's open it up. All right. And then we want Uber Audio B, which is also case 6. All right. Now, I want to talk about these for a second. These are what we would call dimension tables for a simple reason. Okay. They're a list of these dimensions or variables. Okay, and this has the addresses, etc., the organizations, and all that. Then, if we look at this second one, this is a listing of all of the contacts, the people who we do business with. Okay, and so it's all right. Well, we're going to do something here. We've talked about building tables and all of that, and I'm going to show you a solution file here in a little bit that will show you some things that we do. But again, we're going to take a little bit step forward tonight in terms of dealing with these tables. So let's close this first one off, Uber A, and then let's close off Uber B. Okay. Now, come up to the top and find Database Tools. Click on that, and you're going to see a thing that says Relationships. Okay, click on that, and it should render these up for us. All right, tools, relationships. That is strange. Why am I not getting? Oh, I love it. All right. All right, let's click, right-click it and click Show All. Let's see if that does. Anybody getting the same weirdness I'm getting? Well, let's show the tables. Okay, let's try this. Let's go down here and find Uber A. Let's add it, and then find Uber B and add it. And I'm very sorry about this. Let me size this up. So you should have Uber A and Uber B open in there. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is link these two tables. All right, and we're going to link them on the basis of one column that is dimension, i.e., variable, i.e., characteristic that they both share, and it's organization. If you look at Uber A, you'll see the thing that says org. And if you look at Uber B, you'll see the thing called org. Okay? Everybody should see that. And what we're going to do is we're going to link the two of these together so we can link these tables because they share a common element. It's just like an intersection of a set. So I'm going to take the org here. And when I put it on the org or the other, I'll see a little add sign. And I'm going to get the Edit Relationships dialog box. Okay? And I'm going to click Enforce Referential Integrity. What that means is they have to match. And I'm going to click Create. Okay, and we don't want to have a unique end. Well, if they're not going to let us do that, let's just go ahead and create it without that. All right. Oh, I know why we didn't do it. One of them isn't a primary key. I'm sorry. That's okay. We're still good. Now, you see the line right there? What that means, these two tables are joined now. Since they're joined on this field, we can work with both tables as if they're one. Now, take your cursor and put it on that line and click Edit Relationships, okay? And you're going to see on the left-hand side is Uber A. That's what we would call the parent table. And on the right-hand side is Uber B, what we would call the child table, okay? Now, we weren't able to enforce referential integrity or do any of these other things because one of these is not a primary key. So we don't have a guarantee of a unique record. In fact, we really couldn't do that because we have many organizations that are dealing, we have people who belong, multiple people who belong to one organization, okay? So that's why we have that intermediate step there. But we've got that created, okay? So it's not that big of a deal. We've combined the two tables, all right? Now, let's go ahead and close this. And we'll say save the changes, yes. All right? Now, I'm just going to run a query, okay? I'm going to click, we've done this many times, and click Create. And then the query design, and we'll get this design box. And we're going to choose, we're working with Uber, so we're going to go down here, we get Uber case A, we'll add it, Uber case B, add it, and notice it shows the two of them are connected. Now this means, you say, so does this mean I can run a query using the data from both tables? Certainly. So I can make a table from these one table. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to click the asterisk here. I'm going to click the asterisk here. And then I'm going to click Run. And there is a complete table. Okay? Now, if I chose, I could append data to this. I could take an Excel file and import it and dump it in here. Okay? But there's, you know, that we would have to assume that we could join them, and the way we join them, okay, is simply by using that code. Now, now notice what you'll see is we see organization, address, and we have the name. This is music interest A. They have, and this is a list of customers for this company, this Uber Audio. These are their contact lists or their sales list. These are the countries where this is their address, where they live, etc., phone number, and then music interest. That's what that MUSINT means. And their A is their first music interest, B is their second one. And notice, okay, we've got them joined on the basis of organization. Now, we've run the query, so let's go down under the hood, and you can either do it here, okay, and click Design View, or you can go up to the far left corner. Doesn't matter. Okay, and there we are at that level, and we've done that. Now, we're going to do one other thing that is a little bit, we'll go down just a little bit further into the engine, if you will, and I'm going to look at the SQL view. Okay, now I'm going to take this code, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it up here where we can see it, okay, and it should be select. Now, I want to take just a minute to show you how simple this code is. This is structured query language, also known as SQL, okay? And you say, what do you mean? Structured query language is a very simple, what we would call sub-language that allows me to select data in a way that I want to get, okay? Now, if you look at this, let me show you what you're looking at. Select. 99% of all queries are select queries. And then in brackets, Uber A, case 6, that's the table, and then dot, and then the asterisk is a wild card. It means get everything. Then the comma says, all right, continue. And then we have Uber B, case 6, that's in brackets, that's the name of that table, dot. We want everything there. And we're selecting that from Uber A. And you'll notice this phrase, an inner join. When you hear the term inner join, it's the same as an intersection. Remember back to those days of yore when you learned about set theory and you had set A and set B. An inner join says I get everything that matches between A and B. And in this case, we had linked the two tables on organization, so we're able to get the data. So that's what that inner join. Outer join is another critter. An outer join would be, a left outer join is what I'd say if I want everything from table A and only the stuff from B that matches. A right join, conversely, would be everything from table from B and what matches in A. It depends on what I'm looking for. And then there's a thing called a union where we take both of them and put them together. Now, I like to tell students that when you talk about these, especially at your age, I understand you're in that phase of your life. You want to do a lot of filtering and sorting, because when you go out on a date, or I guess you guys still call it dating, I don't know. When you do that, you see only the stuff that the other person wants to let you see, and vice versa, okay? But when you go to the union stage, you get the whole kit and caboodle. So you make sure that you don't wind up like one of those people who 20 years later go, why did I marry this person? Or sit there at the breakfast table and scan the internet for ways, how do I kill my spouse and get away with it, or stuff like that. The union marriage is, it's the whole kit and caboodle. All your bad habits, all their bad habits, your good habits, their good habits, your families. That's the fun part. You know, so if your friend, you went home for Christmas and he has an Uncle Fred who's a drunk, you get Uncle Fred for the duration. So think about that. There's a life lesson there for us there. But we've joined those two tables, so we have everything from them, okay? And that's the code, and we've done an inner join, and then we're going to do Uber B, case 6 on Uber A. And notice here is a conditional statement where the organization in A, table A, equals the organization in table B. It's this simple. People make this so complicated, and it's really, really, truly not. Now, chances are during your career you won't write a lot of code, if any. But I'm going to tell you this. Once you've done it and you see how it works, you'll probably be the only person in the room who can have an intelligent conversation with the IT people or your vendor for your database. Now, like I've said before, I work with some churches and working with their databases and trying to work with them and their vendors. And I can tell you, it's a challenge because you just want the information. But if you didn't load everything correctly, or you didn't load everything up, you won't get the data you want. So right now I have all of those records. And these are, again, what I would call it's a dimension table, because it's just simply a listing of everybody I do business with. All of my contacts by organization, where they're located, etc. Okay? So we've joined the tables together. Not a big deal. Now the text over here, this case 6, they talk about this over on page 210 and 211. And they want to be able to use the database to send out mailings. They want to be able to do some analysis, etc. And they give you a lot of verbiage about the company and their needs and so forth. And then you come over to page 212, and after they've told you their sad story, they come to the part called the tasks. And that's the stuff we're going to do, are those tasks. So we have 6 tasks in the case. Let's look at them, okay? The first is to link the two tables on the org field. Okay, now we've done that. All right, and we could call this. We can say this and call it task 1. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to call it task 1. Now, if I want to do this old school meaning in the early days when we had any kind of graphic interface, we didn't have little icons. There's icons for tables, forms, queries, reports. We didn't have them. So the way we'd name them, if it's a table, we'd do this, right? In front of that, I'd put TBL. So it's a table. If it was a, let's see, on TBL, if it was a query, I'd put QRY. If it's a report, I'd put RPT. But you luckily can look over and see you can see the icons, and you can see all these tasks up here. All the tasks on this drop-down menu, on this ribbon up here, all involve programming. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft employees. I think sum total of the employees who work just on Microsoft Office Suite alone is about. I think it's somewhere around 10,000 people who do nothing but work on this year in, year out. And having seen this thing evolve, it's almost like a miracle. It's a fantastic, and most of the time you'll be working at this level. You'll be working at the graphic user interface level. So we've done task number 1. We combined them, and notice there's our query. Okay. Now we can run a report off this, and just so I can complain some more about the reporting function in this, let's click create. And let's go to the report wizard, and let's throw the whole kit and caboodle over there and click next. And we're going to, let's group them on the basis of, we've got a geographic, let's do it on the basis of country. Okay, we're just playing around with it. Then we'll do a second grouping on the organization. Okay, and let's see, that may help us. So let's click next, excuse me. And then on the ascending order, we'll put their last name in ascending order of alphabetical. And let's click next and see what kind of, let's put this in a landscape view, okay, and click next, and we'll finish, and there's our report that has a list of everything. And as you can see, as we've been going through this, you can see the report function in Excel is a handful. You say, okay, so are you saying that you do like you're doing? Yeah, I'd take that table, I'd throw it into Excel, and then I'd bury it in a Word document. Life is too short to spend your time trying to format all of this. And if you're in a rush, okay, which you probably will be, you don't have the time to do all this intricate stuff. Now, the nice thing, okay, is that when you go to work out there, hopefully you'll be working for a company that has a vendor that can produce some very nicely tailored reports. In other words, all that work's been done for you before, okay? So we've got that report. Now there's the design view, and I want to show you something since we're down at the design view on the report, okay? The report has a header for the page. It has a footer for the page. See that code right there? Equal page and of a lot like what you might have seen when you maybe messed around some with it, Word when you were taking 1103. Now, this right here, okay, these are the page headers. Then you see the country header because we did that. Then we see the organization. Then you come down to a section called the detail. That detail section is where all the data are stored. And those are what we call unbound text boxes, and that's where we have all the data. So we've got a page header, then we've got the country header, then we have the organization header, okay, and then we have a footer on the back of it, and there's the date and time stamp equals now. And we can just go back up and look at it, and we'll save it, and then we'll go back up to look at the report layout, and we've got a report now called Task 1, okay? So I'm okay, and I know it's not gonna look pretty, all right? The nice thing for you is when you go to work, SAP, SAS, Oracle, the major vendors all understand this, and so you put data into a report, it formats out beautifully because they know you don't have the time to scrunch around with all this stuff. And trust me, you've got a lot of stuff going on here. So we'll close this off, okay? Now let's look over at the task there on page 212, okay? And they say, create a report for marketing purposes that lists all customers separated into alphabetical organizational groups. Well, we just did that, okay? And they wanted the field describing music interests and addresses are not needed, but we went ahead and threw it in there. If we want to remove a field, we can. That's up to us, all right? Let's go back into task 1 for a minute and go back into the layout view, okay? And click on the address, okay? And then delete it. Click on the city, delete it. Click on the state, delete it, okay? Let's see, what do we got here? We'll go ahead and delete all those. Yeah, we still got some more there. See, it was all overlapped and just nasty. So we're going to get rid of all of those. So what we have is their music interest A and music interest B, okay? And we'll try to separate these out. Or if we want, we can do this. We'll close this and we'll save it. It's a very simple process. Let's go back to this query, okay? Right click on the query, okay? And then click copy. This is where people get a little skittish. If I put paste out in here, it's not going to do anything. I have to come back over here and put paste, and it will put it in there, and it's going to give me a copy of task 1. I'm going to call this task 2. Okay? And there it is. Now, we're going to do a little bit of work with task 2. Again, I'm a lazy slug, so I don't like to pay for real estate twice, and I don't like to do things more than once if I have to. So I'm going to go into the design view of this, okay? Pardon me, not the SQL, but to go to the design view. All right? And I'm going to be a little more selective. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to get only exactly what they asked me to give them. And that is customers. So we want the customers. So we're going to get the last name, the first name. We're going to get the organization because they ask us for that. And music interests and addresses are not needed. One organization with records sorted alphabetically by last name within these groups. Okay, so we've got that done. So we want to do it sorted by alphabetic last name, so put that in ascending order. Okay, and I'm going to run the query, and there I have their first name, their last name. Okay, and I've got and now I'm ready. I'll save this, and then I can run a report. All right. Now, I'm going to over here and click Create, Report Wizard, and I'm going to grab everything out of Query Task 2. Okay, I click Next, and then I'm going to organize it. How do they say they want to? Oh, this is number 2. You want with the records sorted alphabetically by last name. Okay, I want. I'm going to group them by organization. That's how I'm going to get around that goofy thing. They say, oh, I'm only under one organization. Then I'm putting the name last. Okay, I've got that in name first. I'll click OK. And I want to put the last name in ascending order, alphabetical order. And I'm going to go ahead and just put this in a outline, a landscape view, stepped. Next, and click next. And there it is. Now, the authors threw us a curveball, okay? When they said they're in number 2, the fields each group should contain one organization with the records sorted alphabetically by last name. We did that in the grouping process. Okay? And so we've got them by organization, and everybody who's in Apple, and everybody who's, you know, the people who work at Apple, and the people who work at Capitol Records, etc. So we've got task 2. So we'll close that and we'll save it, and we've done task 2. Okay? All right. Now, the bottom of page 212, they ask us to design a custom label with 4 lines of information that can be used as a mailing label. This sounds a little bit like something you might have done back in 1103. So we're going to do a custom mailing label. All righty. Let's go over here and click Create. And let's find labels. We'll click Labels. And it's going to ask us, okay, what size do you want to use? In English, okay, yeah, we want that. So we'll just take that default. We'll click Next. And now it's going to say, all right, what do you want? Now I want to cancel this because I want to go back here for just a moment. And I want to use, let's look at task 2. Is that the one that's got everybody? No. It's task 1. So click on task 1. Let's open that up. There it is. It's everybody. Click on task 1. Then, I apologize. Then click Create. Okay. Labels. Next. Next. Now we're going to do a prototype. You probably did this in 1103. You may have done this before if you've worked with Word. Not a big deal. So I'm going to click their first name and put it there. Okay. And then I'm going to put a space. And then I'm going to put their last name. Okay. And then I'm going to press Enter. And I'll come to the second. Now I want to scroll down here, and I want to get their address. Okay. And then I'm going to click Enter. I'm going to enter the city, put a comma and then a space, the state, space, and the zip code. Okay. Now I have one left. I'll put Enter, and I'll put the country. And I have my mailing label. Now the one thing I don't have on here is the organization, and I would kind of like to have it. So what I'm going to do here is let's come up here to where it says organization, and I'm going to put the address and then put a space, and then I'm going to put organization. So if you see, I've got the first line is the first name and last name, then the address and the organization, and then the city, the state, the zip, and then the country. And let's see what our label looks like. But we did the 4, and we'll call that labels task 1, and we do our labels. And there it is. Not too bad. Okay. Okay, so this would be, this would be task 4. Okay, so I'm going to save this as, it's not, you're not going to let me do it. So let's close it off. Go down there where it says labels, task 1. Just rename it. That's all you got to do, and we'll call it task 4. Okay. Now, after the end of this, I have a solution file that I want you to take a look over and dig around in it so you can see one that's really well developed and worked out. And I like to show that to you. I like to walk you through the basic steps that they ask us to do here. But I've got one that I'll show you that's got some bells and whistles that make it a little bit better and might, pique your curiosity, and you can use it to upload. But you can see, we're kind of just going through a pattern here. So we've got 5. Now, on task number 5, this is the bottom of page 212. Uber has recently obtained some new hip-hop and hard rock sound recordings. Print a list of all USA customers with one of 2 music interests. And they say, in other words, a 39 and 47, which is a code for one of those 2. Be careful with the Boolean logic. Okay. Well, we're going to do this. I'm going to click Create, and I'm going to do Query Design. And they want the list of customers, USA customers. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to get Uber A and Uber B. Okay, I've got those 2. Now, they want a list of customers, and they don't say if they want alphabetized or anything like that. So I'm going to be informal with this. So I'm going to click the first name. I'm going to get their last name. Okay. I'm going to get their organization. Okay. And I'm going to get their music interest A. Okay. And music interest B. And then their country. All right. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky, but we will survive. Okay. And I'm going to do this under the country. All right. I'm going to put. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Under the music. Oh, we'll do this. Music interest A. Let me go back here for a second. I want to dispose of this. So let's just click off, get rid of it. Let's click Create. And let's go to the form query design, excuse me. And I'm going to get A and B, okay. And I want to get their first name and their last name. And then I want to get their music interest A. They just want their primary music. Yeah, okay. And then I want the organization, and then I want the country. Okay. Now, if you come down here, come to the criteria, all right, and in that criterion under music interest A, well, let's see what I want to do. I want to put well, they want okay, they want B as well. I'm sorry. Okay, let's just wipe this one out. Sorry about that. All right, I want to get music interest B. Okay, then the organization, then the country. Okay, now under music interest A, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try 39. I'll put that in quotes. Or 47. Okay. Now that's under music interest A. I'm going to come to music interest B, and on the line, where it says or, I'm going to put 39 or 47. Okay. I should put 39 or 47. Okay, so I'm going to put 39 quotes or quotes 47. Okay, then over on the country, I'm going to put quotes USA. Now, I think I've done it right. Let's find out. And I did. Let's go back for just a minute here. And I want to show you what well, let's look at the end result. What they asked us for was anybody in the USA, okay, whose first choice in music is 39 or 47, and those are music codes, okay? And they want only the people in the USA. So let's go back down here for a minute, and on country, I should be getting Australia there. On country, I should just put, well, okay, oh, I know what I did here. Here's where I messed this up. We're going to put, oh, this is my chance to get to say USA, and go the line below and go USA. I forgot about that. It's a non-Olympic year. Now, I'm going to draw this up for just a minute, and I'm going to go left to right and show you what we've done. The first thing is obvious. We got their last name. Then we got their first name. No big deal. So far, so good. Music interest A. Okay. We want anybody whose music interest is hip hop or rock. I think it's what it is. And those codes, hip hop or art or hard rock, those codes are 39 and 47. So we on the criteria line under music interest A, I put 39 or 47. Then I came over to music interest B, and underneath on the line where it says or, I added 39 or 47. Okay, so I'm nesting this, and then I go to the organization, and then I come over to the country, and I put USA for the criteria, and then I put USA also for the or. And that's how I eliminate that Australia from it. And there we are. Now, I like this because the very last column says USA, USA, USA. I don't hear people cheering and stuff, so it's kind of that's a bummer. Must not love your country. I'm playing. If I wanted to, you said, could I come in and suppress that column and just rename the query? Yeah. In fact, to make it pretty, we're going to do that. So let's go back down to the design view. Okay. And I'm going to suppress that. We'll go up here. And then on the query, I'm going to save it. Okay. As, let's call it, Task 5. Okay. And if we're out in the real world, we'd call it hip hop or hard rock. So we know they like one of the two. And there are music codes. We'll click OK. And we've got Task 5 done. That one always throws people. Now, I'm going to open up Task 5 query, and I want to show you the design view, and then we'll go down and look at the SQL, the SQL. There it is. I'll put it over here in a. Now, we're using a select statement, okay? And we're going to get the last name, the first name, music interest A, music interest B, and then we tell it, okay? Then from, and then where, or, and we get music interest A and music interest B. That's a little bit confusing. It's not as confusing when you look at it over here. in the SQL view, pardon me, in the design view, okay? So we got this, we know now who likes hip hop or hard rock in the United States, and we suppress that because we know it's USA. Okay, that's task number 5. Okay, so we've gotten that done. Not a big deal, we're in good shape. Now, there at the bottom of page 212, it says task number, it says 6. The current system uses codes 39, examples 39 and 47, which we just got through, for data in the music interest fields. The user of the file system and recipients must know what these codes mean. Devise a way to include the meaning of these codes into the database. You'll still make up meanings for each of the interests, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see what they're talking about. And let's open up music interest A. Pardon me, Uber A, and there are their music interests. And we've got all these different codes. You say, are you saying that we would want to design a drop-down menu that shows us what those codes are? Yeah, we would want to. A drop-down menu so we see what the code is, what type of music it is. So let's close this off. Okay, and you've got your access case 6, and you can close that off. That's okay, and you should have your case 6, access case 6, down on your desktop to upload if you choose to. But being a nice guy, I went ahead and showed you a finished product. We added some bells and whistles to it. And I want to find that here. I think this is the one, Uber Audio 1. I believe that's the one. Let's see, here it is, Uber Audio 1. Let's download that. I think that's the one I want. So go over to the Files section and grab the one that says Uber Audio 1. Now I added some bells and whistles in this, okay? And that file is published, so if you want to upload it for Access Case 6, you can. It's there published so you can root around in it, and you're not going to break it or the machine. You say, okay, well, what's the point here? Well, let's look at a couple of things. First of all, I've added in a menu, okay? And I did it using a form, okay? And I can take a form and bury a command in it, okay, and then label it, and I'm ready to go. Just click on Add a New Customer. It takes us to a form called Add Customer, okay? If I click Add New Company, this is to save me some time. Here's a full mailing list of everybody. Here's Exit the System if I want to exit the system. Now, let's talk about, okay, so well, how do you do that? Well, let's click on this Add a New Customer, okay, and then click the Design View. Now, you're going to see the form. You're going to see these parts. The form header, okay? Then you're going to see the detail. That's the data. Now, the detail is divided into 2 parts. One of them is the label, and the other is what we call the unbound text box. That's where the data is. Now, if you see here, there are drop-down menus already for music interests A or B. Those have been created, okay? Now, I'm going to click on this name last, and I'm going to go into the properties. And I want to look at the property. This property sheet will tell me how this thing was created, everything I want to know about it, okay? Its format, all that stuff. And we don't go that deep in this course or the other in designing forms. This really is something people over in the CIS computer science program would be doing. You know, you might be consulted about what kinds of information you have, but you don't want to be rooting around with this stuff unless it's of great interest to you. That's the property sheet, okay? Now, I'm going to click in here in the design view, And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to choose I want to find a command box. And let's see here. I'll find the command button is what I want to find. Here we go. You see the little thing that says has all the X's? Okay, click it and just come over in here. And this is a command button wizard. What this will let me do is the following operations per category, and then I can stick a label on top of it and I'm done. That's all I have to do. So I'm going to put record navigation, and I'm going to find go to first record. I'm click next, and I'll click next here. Okay, I'll click finish. Okay, boom. Now I have to have an object for it to go to, so I'm going to build that event, and I'll choose what I'm after. Not any big deal. It's a little bit beyond the purview of this course, but I want you to see that you can do, and these are creating macros basically, just like we created macros when we worked back with some of those Excel cases. Okay, now I want to show you a couple of other things that go with this. Here are the music codes, and we'll open that up, okay? And we got music interest A. We've got the music ID and then the music interest, okay? And then it's pretty simple. If you look at Uber A, or is it B? Let's try Uber A. And there's the music interest A or B. Now, they're a drop-down menu. Okay, and we've done drop-down menus, and you can see the menu, okay, for their first music interest and that code, and then the same thing for their music interest B or their secondary interest, okay, and that in that code. There it is. And it's all that's done there. And then the tasks 1, task 4A, task 5, and the forms to add a company, customer interest by organization, add a company, those macros. This is a hair beyond, okay, what we would do, what the authors would expect us to do with this case, but you've got it here to play with, okay? And you say, could I add some more commands in here and stuff? Yes, certainly, you could do that, okay? The textbook gets into it in some later cases, but I don't think we need to go that far yet, just for the simple reason, you know, we've got what we need to do at this point in time. Okay, let me stop for a minute. Go back out here. I want to say hi to everybody. Carmen, Houston, good to see you. Jake, Matthew, we've got Tyler. I'm going to unmute everyone. Anybody have a question? Okay, if you do, you can always text it to me if you choose to do that. Now, just for the benefit of everybody, one more time, and I'm going to close this file. I'm going to close this off. And this is called Uber 1. And that's the one we work on now. Now, go back here and mute everybody. All right, I've got you guys all muted. I assume you can still hear. Okay, good. Let me just quickly go back over what I did earlier. I started about 5:30, so you know I'm into about 90 minutes of this, and then this will be a part 1, and then I'll do a part 2. Let me start again just to make sure that we're on top of what's going on. Okay. Now tonight I'll upload this case 6 and that'll be there. Okay, so we've got that done. Now, let's go down to the modules. All right, and I'll repeat this because for some of us, sometimes this is the first time you've taken a class with me, so it can be a little bit disconcerting when I say, okay, I'm going to catch a loose for the next few weeks. But that's what's going to happen. Week 11, this is us. Now, you've uploaded cases, access Excel cases 11, 12 already. Okay. Now, on week 12, you should have already uploaded access cases 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've done them already. Okay. Now, on week 13, there's no Thanksgiving holiday. And you don't have any assignments here. You've already done these. So next week is when you should start in earnest working on the following. The Excel function paper, presentation. Now, I've got some stuff in here about I'll call on you randomly, and if you don't answer, that's when I've done this ground-based. Forget about that. Do a paper, okay? And if you do a PowerPoint, that's fine, but I want you to do a paper that tells me the Excel function you chose, how and why we use it, and how it works. I really prefer you upload an Excel file where you've used it and then have a text box in there that gives some narrative. I don't care either way. But if you do it, if you take an Excel, okay, and you do a function and you embed it in Word, make sure I can see the formula bar so I can see that you did it, okay? And don't knock yourself out writing me long narratives. Go over and use the print screens to show what you can do. Now, that's the first thing. Let me give you a qualifier about this. It says, okay, see the syllabus for details. Let's go back up to the home. And in this resources area, you're going to find the syllabus for the course. And let me stop for a minute. I guess someone's got a question for me. That's a great question. Someone asked, should the paper have citations? It should. Let's say you go over to Easy Excel and you use that, or you go see a YouTube video, or you use Microsoft Help. Okay, just put the reference there. Okay, so because I know you used a reference of some kind. They say, can I use a function that we've used in a case? Yes, you may. In that case, in that event, if you do, you need to cite the Solve It textbook because that's where it's covered. Okay, so that's all I'm after. Okay, so hopefully that will have answered your question. And now let's go down here. Now I'll talk about citations in just a minute. Let's scroll on down here and you're going to see, and I know everybody's really tired, been a long semester. Here it is about the Excel. Now, this business about presentations on a random call basis is when I do this course ground-based, okay? Otherwise, do the paper, upload it, okay? And note that I have some things. Don't write me an email or say, "Oh, my function is the sum function." Not work. Average, no. Median, no. Maximum, no. Paste, copy, or any function that I think is rudimentary. So you've got the functions we've used in the cases, okay? You've got and you've got. You open up Excel and you'll see how many are there. If you're a marketing major, there's some that might be more applicable to you. If you're a finance major, something like NPV might appeal to you. That's up to you. But don't give me something rudimentary. And I really, what I prefer is that you give me an Excel file with and then a text box you've inserted explaining things. Otherwise, do a Word doc with the Excel embedded, but so I can see that you actually understand what you were doing. Okay. So you get out of the thing of the ground base where I'd call people up here and make them show me how it works. Okay, so that's that piece. Now, let's talk about another task that you've got ahead of you. That's why next week I'll be here, but I'm not teaching because you've covered, you should be working. I'm giving you the flex time basically a week early, okay? And then you got Thanksgiving. You also have the spatial analysis exercise. You say, what in the world is it, okay? Well, you're gonna need to go back over, okay, and go up into the resources area. In fact, you could try it just so you can, and let's search for spatial. And there it is. Spatial analysis exercise. These are the instructions. It's just a series of steps using Google Maps and using Esri Tapestry to do an analysis. And each time I ask you to provide a print screen that gives me evidence you completed the task. No big deal. Okay? So that's what I've got. That's what I have going on for you there. Now, let's see. So those are both due the 30th. Now, we come down to week 15. Okay? And, that's, let me open just week 15. You really don't have anything, just, work on the final. And the final exam, go down here and talk about this real quickly. Okay? I have the instructions for it in a document. Okay? Where to go get the file and all that. That's for final exam. The instructions for final exam part 1. And in part 1, you're going to upload an Access file and an Excel file. Then parts 2, 3, and 4 are quizzes. So that's what you got ahead. So starting next Thursday, I'll be over here, and I won't be here Thanksgiving weekend, of course, but next week, and then the 30th, and then the 7th, I'll be around, and I'll be here just like a virtual office hours. If you have a question, if I'm not here at Bailey, if I've got to be over in Oklahoma City, I'll let you know, and I can still work, help you, whatever. But you've got the time now to work independently on these exercises, and don't forget that for Excel case number 6, you can upload one of two. One that we did tonight, or you can go into the files, okay, and you can utilize that Uber audio. I think, or did I call it Access Case 6? What did I call that? Yeah, Uber Audio 1. And that's when I added a few more bells and whistles back in the spring. You can upload it. Okay, folks, listen, I know it's 7:09. People are tired, falling asleep, walking out. I think they've had all of you had enough of me. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'll record this and post it, and then I'll do a second part where I'll go over all of these projects that are coming up over one more time and kind of get you ready for the independent study part of the course. So thank you so much. Those of you who are out there, those of you who are here tonight, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing your work.